Why, hello there YouTube, and welcome to a Revolting review. So this one is an original versus remake review. Do excuse the noise outside, I have the window open because it's quite warm today. But I'm doing an original versus remake review on the film Jacob's Ladder. So let's first start where I review the original Jacob's Ladder from 1990. This is a cult psychological horror film that is written by Bruce Joel Rubin and directed by Adrian Lyne, starring Tim Robbins, Elizabeth Penner, and Danny Alio or whatever. So, as I've told you already what the subgenre is, this follows war veteran from the Vietnam War, Jacob Singer, who is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and from the Vietnam War many years after, and we see through this film his whole breakdown, how he suffers, how he finds the world around him just crumbling to pieces, and he slowly loses his mind throughout the film, and he sees and hallucinates over many things. So let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. What did I like? First of all, I liked Tim Robbins in this film. He did a great performance as Jacob in this. Also the supporting cast, Elizabeth Penner, she too was great as his love interest in this, his wife or his girlfriend. And yeah, we also got to see another family he had, and even had a son in this, Gabriel, played by Macaulay Culkin. I was surprised to see Macaulay Culkin in this one, because before I got word about the remake coming out, I thought I have to see the original and watch that first, and I have. And I've seen the remake, but we'll get to that one a bit later on in this video. So, my other likes. I just like the unsettlingness, how we see through Jacob's mind all these hallucinations. Are they real? Are they not real? Yeah. So, yeah, I just liked that bit of them bits of the film. My dislikes. First of all, I didn't like how complicated and confusing the story is. Yeah, it's a good film, but it's probably one of those films that you'll need to give a second viewing. I'm thinking I might have to give Jacob's Ladder, the original, a second viewing, because yeah, there was a bit in this film which was a bit complicated, hard to understand, hard to get over. I get that he's a war veteran from the Vietnam War, he's suffering from PTSD, but what's his reality here? I find that a bit confusing. I mean, at the end, it makes me think, was this whole thing a vision? Was it a dream? Was he going up the ladder to heaven? Was his entire life flashing before his eyes? I'd probably say it was. Yeah. And the family he had before, he had a family, as I've said already, in this. But at the end we find that he... let's just have a look. Yeah, but in the end, of course, he gets a peaceful death because he was injured in battle. So yeah, like I say, the film is a bit confusing to get around, but is it a good film? Well, other things in my dislikes is I found this film a little bit boring in parts. I mean, it wasn't boring throughout, but there were bits in the middle that were filler that I found a bit boring, a bit slow. But I managed to stay awake throughout this film and watch it all, and yeah, it was an okay film, a pretty decent one. But is it better than the remake? Well, we'll get to that shortly. But first, I'll get my final thoughts and ratings for Jacob's Ladder. This was an okay film. I kind of get why it kind of tanked in 1990, but has gained the cult following it has now. So, with all that being said, I think I'm going to give Jacob's Ladder, the 1990 original, I'm going to give this... I'll give it a 3. yeah, I'll give it a 3 because it wasn't boring throughout the film. There were bits in there that were interesting. There were good parts in there. So I'm giving it 3 machetes out of 5. So now we go to the second part, the review on the 2019 remake. Okay, so continuing my original versus remake review now with the 2019 Jacob's Ladder. This was screenplay written by Jeff Buller and Sarah Thorpe, and this was directed by David M. Rosenthal. And it starred Michael Early, Jesse Williams, and Nicola B. Harry or whatever. So, as I've just said, this is a remake of the 2019 cult classic. Again, following Jacob Singer, only this time it's not the Vietnam War, it's the Afghan War, and we see him, he has it all going for him, after the war, he's got a family, a wife, a kid, and he comes across his brother who's suffering from this PTSD. He also suffers from the PTSD as well, and yeah, there is a bit of a twist as well on Jacob and his relationship with his brother and his wife, and we discover that there's a drug going around for war veterans as well, as I forgot to mention from the original as well. There's a crazy drug going around that's causing mass hallucination on homeless vets, and yeah, it all spirals into a state of madness again like in the original, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get on to my likes and dislikes. Well, first of all, the likes, I did like the performance Michael Early put up as Jacob Singer. This was also an all black cast as well, which I think's great, yeah, it doesn't really matter skin tone or these days, or gender or whatever, but yeah, Jacob's Ladder, this was different to the original. Another thing I liked is that this, Monty, the horror miser Monty G said in his review of the remake, this wasn't shot for shot, and I thought, yeah, it's not shot for shot, and I think the effects and suspense was good, but that's it. For my dislikes, I just did not like that there was very lack of character development in there with Jacob's brother and his wife. There was not much character development around them. I felt like, like Monty said in his review, they were there just for the sake of being there. Also, I didn't like that we never got to see the monster. I mean, we did in one scene and in a few bits where there were glimpses, but nothing really that suspenseful. The effects were good, the cinematography was good, but yeah, this just wasn't. I mean, it's definitely not the worst. Like Monty says in his review, it's not the worst horror remake. And I felt like this, they also took a lot of the horror out of this and kept it psychological thriller aspects. So I feel like they did take a lot of the horror out there and made it very suspenseful thriller. There was a big twist at the end which I found a bit confusing, a bit complicated. Like I say, Jacob's Ladder, both the original and the remake, are very complicated films and confusing in bits, but still I think, it's a film that you need to give a second watch on. Would I watch this one again? Probably not anytime soon, probably not at all, because I didn't really like this remake. I thought, it was a bit poorly done, and the character development was, I just didn't get the same enjoyment out of it like I did in the original. But it wasn't brilliant, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it just wasn't for me, I found this was a film that was just remade for. I mean, Jacob's Ladder, I don't think it really needed a remake, but there you go. So, anything else I need to add? I've got this towel because it's so hot today. I'm sweating. No, so my final thoughts and ratings on Jacob's Ladder 2019. I thought the original is way better than the remake, because again, I found bits in this boring too, like boring and a bit slow. But yeah. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna give Jacob's Ladder 2019 remake. I'll probably give this 1.5. 1.5 machetes out of 5. So there we go. That has been my review on the 2019 version of Jacob's Ladder. So, you know, in this case of an original versus remake review, the original won this one, Jacob's Ladder 1990. That won. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for both the original and the remake. So yeah, have you seen any of these two? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are down below in the description. So yeah, that's it for this one. So until next time, don't have nightmares.